What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel where we talk about creating an epic life on your terms. Today we're gonna talk about the question how to put yourself first without feeling guilty. Because let's face it, so often we think I want to achieve these great things, I have so much potential in me, but I would actually be abandoning people if I did, and that would make me feel so guilty. Like I would experience joy, and just the fact that I'm experiencing joy will make other people suffer. So what do? We dim our light, we stay small, and we just hope that through that we will keep our connections to people. We'll stay in an environment where we're tolerated, accepted, and there seems to be no way out. Because our mind, our body, our emotions keep telling us if we take a new route, if we actually start standing up for ourselves, we will not only abandon others, which will make us a bad person in the first place, but people will also not like us. So there's this vicious circle going on over and over again, and we don't know how to get out of it. So if this is the case for you, then you definitely need to watch today's video because it isn't as easy as some people make it sound to be, but it isn't rocket science either. We're going to talk about how to understand what's really going on and how you can step out of it without feeling guilty all the time. Before we get started, I want to remind you the bootcamp starts February 29th, so go check it out, sign up. It's going to be an amazing time where we work together and create amazing results for your epic life creation. So let me first say there is no right or wrong of what is a morally right answer and what isn't. It is very fluid. And this is something that causes a lot of problems because how are you going to decide if you're just being too selfish or too selfless or if you're really being a good person and a good friend in a situation where you're not abandoning others? You know, this is really something we have to decide for ourselves. But what I can tell you definitely is that if you don't put yourself first, most of the time at least, you will not be able to create abundance and a ripple effect. So no matter who you want to help, the best way to help them is to be an example, to stand up for yourself, to be your best friend, and to go for the things you want to do. Nobody's really going to be helped by you dimming your light. So what I'm telling you here isn't something new. This is not why you're watching this video. We all know this. But the question is, how do you stop this voice in your head? How do you stop this feeling that keeps telling you, don't do it? Because if I would do it, I would be just like the people I don't like. I would just be that selfish person that just cares about money, success, fame, whatever it is that you're afraid of being, and you want to be the person who's a good person, who stands up for their friends, who's loyal. But there's a difference between being nice and being kind. And still, we totally underestimate how often we're being nice while we're thinking we're being kind. We feel, I just can't be that person who leaves them behind. I'm supposed to just abandon them. I'm just supposed to go out and be like this great version of myself and let them lay in their misery. This is where we make the biggest mistake here, because we believe we have the power to actually pull that person up, but we never have that. We can always be a support system. We can be somebody who's there for them. And there are situations where it definitely makes sense to have empathy instead of sympathy. Brene Brown really made a good example here. So she said, if somebody's really in the gutter and they're feeling helpless, sympathy would be to be completely happy and to be all in your own world and excited and just say, oh, I see that you're down there and I'm sorry for you. But empathy is actually to go down there and say to that person, I'm here with you. You're not alone in this place. And since so many of us know how to do that, how to be there for our friend, for the person that's in our life, we feel like we would abandon them and leave them down there if we go out and create a better life for ourselves. This is the biggest fear. But we have to remember that the voice in our head, this feeling of guilt, we are giving that to ourselves. It's not that person. And that does not mean that that person won't even tell you to your face you're abandoning me. It's not that they're gonna feel like, oh, I completely understand you and you should go for it, and they will cheer you on. Most of the time, people will not be able to do this because if they're suffering, they don't have enough energy to be happy for you as well. Unfortunately, that's reality. But as soon as we understand it, we also understand that the best way to be an example for that person is to actually, okay, be there with them for a moment, but never at expense of our own growth. Because if we say no to our own growth, if we say it's okay to dim my light for others, we're subconsciously saying to them, it's also okay for you to stay down there. See, what you're saying is, I don't love myself enough to pull myself up. This is what you're showing to that person. So you can tell that person, I'm there for you. You can be in the gutter with them. You can actually really be there for them and support them, but at the expense of your own well-being. You might think it's the kind thing because this is what you're saying. You're there for them. But subconsciously, you're showing them that you don't love yourself. And why should they love themselves either? That's the thing we have to understand. That's when we have to decide what is the moral compass we gonna take on in our life. Because the step of putting ourselves first, of choosing ourselves, of not waiting for somebody to tell us we're good enough, this is only something we can do. Nobody can do this for us. So why do you think you can do this for your friend? The best way for you to do that is to actually be an example, because these are the things we all learn from. 95% of all communication happens on a subconscious level. It happens through what we do, how we show up, the actions we take. It isn't what we say. It isn't that we call them and we're there for them. It is that we actually prioritize ourselves. This in itself will inspire others to do the same for them. And this is the thing that is the biggest hurdle, to understand that it's okay, to understand that you're willing for them to dislike you, that you're willing for them not to understand you, to be okay with them thinking that you're selfish and that you don't care about them and that it's all about you. That is the hard part. Because once you're okay with this feeling, you understand that it doesn't have to be what you believe. It is maybe what other people believe, but what you believe, you get to choose. And if you know that you have to put the oxygen mask on you first, you're much more likely to actually do it because you know, I have a bigger purpose here. If I stay down here, I'm not helping anybody. Yes, I'm showing them they're not alone in their misery, but I'm also not doing anything to improve neither my situation nor theirs. Because I can tell you one thing, they will not get better if you stop caring about yourself, if you stop choosing for yourself. That doesn't mean that you have to stop supporting them, but you have to support them only as long as it doesn't diminish your own well-being. And how do we decide if this is happening? So many of us are not even aware of it. We just think it's our responsibility to make the team win. But we can't do it on our own. We can never ever be the ones who have the strength to pull that person up. We can be the rock. We can be that inspiration. We can be the thing that they can pull themselves up on. But we can never be the ones who actually have the strength to pull them up when we're down here by ourselves. This is something I had to learn the hard way. I really didn't want to do this because for so many reasons, I have been conditioned my entire childhood that doing this will not only mean that I'm an unlovable person, that I'm a bad person, but also that the people around me would all abandon me because I would actually start and fight for myself. And with that, I'm actually betraying them. I'm being a traitor to our union because subconsciously we all had this contract that we're here in this misery together. And then we're saying, I know you're causing this and I'm gonna get out of it because you're not worth it to me. You're not worth it for me to actually stay in this pain with you. Isn't that the biggest fear? Isn't that what keeps so many of us at this certain place? It is, isn't it? But we can change that because it is a lie. And it's a lie that we keep telling ourselves because we've been conditioned as children, as young adults, that this is the truth. And even when that person isn't there anymore, or the people that gave us that impression, we're now the ones who keep telling ourselves this lie. But I can tell you one thing, you will never ever be able to help as many people or to help that person to get to a better place if you don't choose yourself first. If you don't say, I'm gonna fight for myself. And the fighting for ourselves part, it is so difficult, specifically in the beginning. Because up until this point, we have neglected ourselves. If we don't put ourselves first, it means that we have consciously decided we don't want to know about us. We numb the feelings about ourselves out and down. We do that while actually concentrating on other people. Focusing on them gives us the permission of not caring about ourselves. Because then we can tell ourselves, I'm doing it for the greater good. I'm being a good person. I couldn't live with myself being somebody who just cares about their own well-being. But you don't have to. Most of us who stay in the trenches, who stay in the pain and in the misery, we do that because deep down we want to help. Deep down we believe in connection. Deep down we believe that we all are connected and that nobody should be alone. But if you really believe that, then you should be willing to make a sacrifice in order to help even more people, in order to create a positive ripple effect where you can help others help themselves as well. It is unquestionable that the people I can help now, and I'm not just even talking about my business, my channel, my vocation, I'm also talking about the same people in my environment. I can be of such bigger service to everyone when I'm in a better state. I have more energy. I can create more. The way I show up, I can move so much more than I used to. And you can watch some of my older videos. You will see there is a different energy now because I've cultivated putting myself first. But I've done it knowing very well that I want to help people. I wanted to stay there because I knew this is what I have to do in order to live with myself, to know that I'm showing up in a positive way. But then I understood I want to keep on doing this. I want to be able to do this on an even bigger scale. I want to actually make an impact. Because let's face it, how often have you actually tried to be there for your friends that have been in the trenches, that have been suffering over and over again, and no matter what you do, they stay in this state? It doesn't work. And very often, they're even putting you down for it. They want you to be there with them because they don't have the energy to want to see you thrive. It's not their fault, but this is where they're at. This is the energy they have. The more energy you have, the more you can give freely. That's the analogy of the cup that's overflowing of energy. Then you give and you don't expect anything back because you have enough for yourself, so you just love to give. So if you're somebody who wants to help because this is part of your soul, think about that it's necessary to make that sacrifice right now because it's just not working. And if you put yourself first, you will actually be able to help people on a much bigger scale. Those people can be your family, they can be your friends, and they can also be strangers or new acquaintances or whoever you decide to help. But you will not be able to do this if you don't put yourself first. So once you decide to take that step, once you decide to actually start caring about yourself, there will be backlash. It's not like you say, oh, okay, now I decide to put myself first and everybody's gonna love it. I'm gonna get all the recognition right away. Everybody around me will make me feel like I made the right choice. That's not the case. That's why the first step is the hardest, because you actually have to step out of your environment. Everybody in your life is used to seeing you the way you've always been. But now you show up as a new version of yourself, a version who chooses yourself. So yes, people will abandon you. Yes, people will make you feel you're a bad person. People will give you an impression, how could you just drop him like this? But you have to understand one thing. You have been kinder to that person than you have ever been to yourself. Because if you would be as kind to yourself as to the others, not even putting yourself first, let's even back up from this. What if you would be just as kind to you as you would be to the other person? What would it mean? If this is the case, if you really want to be as kind to yourself as to the other person, how could you ever abandon yourself? How can you be somebody who neglects what is best for you? See, I'm not blaming. I'm not shaming. I used to be there, and I know when you're in that situation, it's very hard to understand. To this day, I catch myself in situations where my boundaries weren't firm enough. And I learn from this, and I get better at this, and every time it feels uncomfortable when I do the shift. It doesn't feel amazing to put up boundaries. It feels horrible. It's not something people want to do, and I think this is something people don't talk about. Yes, once those boundaries are in place, once people have learned that if they want to have you in their life, they have to play by those rules and they have to obey those boundaries, yes, then it's nice. Then you have peace and serenity. But going from a place where you don't have those boundaries and then you have them, or you have stricter boundaries, it's an uncomfortable thing. So don't fool yourself and don't expect anything else. But you know what? You're strong enough for it. You can do this. Because if you want to help other people, if you feel like every person deserves that there's somebody there to support them, to help them, then ask yourself, have you been that person to yourself? Who has helped you? Who has pulled you up? Have you even allowed somebody to help you? No, you haven't. Otherwise, you wouldn't have those thoughts. Otherwise, you would understand that you have to choose yourself, because you can't expect anybody to help you if you're not helping yourself. Yes, people need support in their lowest moments, but they still have to be the ones who want to fight. And you cannot take this away from anybody. You don't have the power to do that. So if you want that person that you want to stay with, that you feel like guilty for abandoning while putting yourself first, if you want them to feel good, they're not going to do that by mirroring back to them that it's okay not to choose yourself, because that's what has to happen. They have to choose themselves, and you have to choose yourself as well. You are the one who's in that low moment. You might feel that person that you're thinking about that makes you feel guilty needs your help so much more. They're in a such worse position than you are. But you will not have the power to change that for them if you don't choose yourself first. That is setting a good example. That's the thing that's going to motivate them. They are not going to learn from what you say. They're going to learn from what you do. So if you're asking how to choose yourself, how to put yourself first without feeling guilty, then this is the thing I'm going to tell you. There is no way. Forget it. You will feel guilty, but the guilt will go away. The guilt is exactly what has to happen, because what do you do at that moment? You're going against your own understanding of right and wrong. You feel it's right to stay with that person, to neglecting your own needs. This is what you've been doing. So if you step out of that norm, you're gonna punish yourself. You're gonna feel guilty. There is no other way. Once you create that new reality where you know, putting myself first, I actually have more energy to help others, and you see that, you see the impact you have while putting yourself first, then you have the strength to create new conversations and new connections while being in your new state of reality. You'll see that it works, and you see that you create much more joy than before. Then you're not gonna feel guilty. Nowadays, I don't feel guilty about things I felt guilty 4 years ago. Now I know it's just been a story I was telling myself, and we have the choice to decide how that story is going to be. I mean, think of an extremely abusive relationship. Think of a relationship with a real strong codependent and a narcissist. The codependent is going to feel guilty. They're going to feel I'm the bad person because I'm not staying with them, because I'm not looking to help them in any other way, because if I don't help them, nobody will. But a person who has healthy boundaries, they would never think that. They would think that person is overstepping their boundaries, they're getting way too close into my space, they're taking something away from me, and I have to be the one who protects that. So if we want to get to a point where we stop feeling guilty for putting ourselves first, we have to be that person who, if somebody like that comes into our life, we don't feel it's normal to let all of our dreams go just in order to make them feel good about their current situation. If you want to make people feel good, you will be able to do this in a much healthier way if you put yourself first. It doesn't make you selfish, it doesn't make you self-absorbed. You're just experienced enough to know that the road you've been going so far will not get you anywhere. It will not get you to a positive result, because look at the track record. Has it so far? Yes, they may have had good moments about feeling good about their life, but have your friend or the person you're thinking about or you actually improved your life? Do you feel like you're happy much more often than you used to? Or is it that you just help each other to keep your head above water? You're both just surviving, and you're giving that person all your attention, all your help so they can survive. But if you decide, okay, I want to use that energy to thrive, what do you think is going to happen to that person? You think they're going to drown. You think they will actually stay down there and go much lower than they've ever been. But that is just not the case, because that person is used to being at a state of, let's say, 20% abundance. That's just what they're used to. And they've been getting that by having you around, you giving so much of their energy to them so they can stay at 20. So if you move away, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna actually choose themselves more so they can get back to 20. And maybe because now they've learned how to choose themselves, they will go from 20 to 30 to 40 and so on. But they will never get to a better state of abundance if you're the one who does the work for them. You will never be able to get them to 30, 40, and 50, because your energy at that point is limited. You're giving of the cup that is not full yet. So you're depleting yourself. There is no overflowing cup of energy that you're giving to them, although you might feel like it. Because has your life really improved? Do you feel like fulfilled and happy and that your life is full of purpose and meaning? Does that feel like that? Well, if it does, you would never feel guilty for putting yourself first. You would never feel you're abandoning that person if you choose yourself. Because you know, in order to create more abundance, not just for you, but for others, you have to choose yourself. You have to be the leading character of your movie, and they have to be the leading character of their movie. And you're not doing them any favor by pulling their weight. you're showing them that you don't believe that they can do it for themselves. So does that scare you? Do you feel like, yes, that's the way it is, but it doesn't matter. I still love them. I still want to be with them. I still want to help them. Trust that they can do it, because they can. They definitely can. I was in situations where I thought, if I actually show them what I'm capable of, they will be so miserable, because it's like a mirror showing them that they cannot do what I can do. And I cannot take on the responsibility of making them feel like this. But you know what happened? That pain happened and they actually really suffered, but they made it through. And it was a positive experience in the end, because they saw they had the power all along. Because they see you have the power to do this for yourself, and they can do that for themselves as well. And because you let them do that on their own, they have the self-confidence to know that they can. When up until this point, everything you keep telling them, subconsciously at least, is, I don't think you can do it, and that's why I'm willing to neglect my own well-being for you. That's not kind action. That's just a nice action that makes us feel good in the moment, but it doesn't make anybody feel better in the long run. Be okay with feeling guilty. Be okay with feeling selfish. It will pass. It is really a choice you make of what you think is okay and what is not. And the longer you stay with that new decision, the better you feel about it. There is no such thing that your feeling is not lying to you. Because remember the example about like this really bad narcissistic relationship, and I've been in situations like this. I felt like I'm the bad guy here. I felt like I'm abandoning the other person. I felt like I should be giving more, and I'm the person who doesn't deserve the appreciation of the other one. That's what I thought. That's the reality I was telling myself. And absolutely everybody who's ever been gaslighted felt like this. Absolutely everybody who's been in codependent relationships felt like this, and it feels like the truth. But it's just a story we're telling ourselves. Just like the story that I tell myself, saying it's okay to put myself first because then I can help others. And you know what? Reality reflects that back to you. The story you tell yourself, you see that reality mirrors that back to you. Whatever you put out in the world, you will get back. And this is not some esoteric rule. It's just that I do put myself first and I still help people. And the result is I help much more people than before. I help people who I actually can help, and I'm not standing in the way anymore of them picking themselves up. You can help them, you can support them, but not at your own expense. This is not the message that you want to send them or yourself. Start putting yourself first. Be okay with feeling guilty, and you will not regret it ever. If you want some more support in creating an epic life on your terms, check out the bootcamp. It starts February 29th. We're gonna really tackle the things that are going on in your life specifically. And if you want to watch another video now that is in line with today's topic, watch the video on how to break free from codependent relationships. Like always, guys, I wish you a wonderful day, a great week, and I talk to you next time.